What's good, everyone? Audiolyptic Mac, and I'm here with another video. Now, in this video right here, I'm going to share with you what I saw on social media, right? This right here really puzzled the crap out of me. Well, it shouldn't be a puzzle because you have these pretendians who just bombarded Facebook and TikTok with a whole bunch of pseudoscience and misinformation when it comes to Native Americans, right? Because a lot of these individuals are self-hating. They don't believe that the slave trade happened. They believe that they were black and already here, but that is false information. Now, I stumbled across this video here, right? And I know this guy's a pretendian, and I'm going to prove it that he's a lying pretendian. Now, I'm going to show you this video right here, and I'm going to pause it and break down relevant facts for you as well. So check it out.
Harjo. My grandfather, Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo. He was a Creek leader, a businessman, a strategist. He was a prominent lawyer, Chief Justice of the Muskogee Creek Nation. And he was a man who saw the economic side of racial reclassification unfolding. He helped create the Creek Oil and Gas Company, the first commercially successful oil operation in what would become Oklahoma.
Now, I'm going to pause the video right here, and we're going to start from the beginning, because he claims his grandfather, which is not his grandfather, it would be his great-great-great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather. And I'm going to show you why. And see, this is why you have to be very careful with these online lying, capping pretendians, right? Now, he claims that this guy right here, this gentleman right here, is Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo, or Harjo. That is false. His name is actually just Thomas Jefferson Adams. Now, there is a Thomas Harjo, but it's not this man. It's two totally different people. And this is what a lot of these pretendians love to do. They'll steal somebody else's ancestry and mix it with theirs. But I'm going to show you something that's really eye-catching when it comes to Mr. Thomas Jefferson Adams right here, because his last name is not Harjo. So check it out.
A few moments later.
Here we have the census record of Thomas Adams, right? His last name is not Harjo, it is Adams, right? So here he is, about 1842, and you see his race is black. But there's an issue right here. This is actually his wife, Mahala, right? What they did was they had a technical error, right, in the census record, right? So this is actually his wife, Mahala Adams, who is black. Mahala Adams, his wife, was black. But Thomas Adams was actually full-blooded Creek. He had married a freedman who his wife was named Mahala. She was a freedman. So to prove that, we're going to go to this census record right here. And as you can see right here, Mahala, wife, black, right? 1842. She was born in 1842. You clearly see Mahala, but then somebody tried to put Thomas there, but it's clearly Mahala, right? But the printout, after they printed it out and did the spreadsheet, it came out. Somebody put Thomas there, but it's actually his wife. Now, we're going to go to him because clearly he's black and all the children are listed as black. And we also know that Thomas had only one biological child. Thomas Jefferson Adams had only one biological child according to the descendants, right? And I'm going to show you this right now, that he had only one biological child according to the descendants. The rest were children of Mahala, right? Mahala, the wife. So check this out.
A few moments later.
Now here is the wiki tree of Thomas Jefferson Adams, right? Born about 1848. We know that's false. He was born in 1840, right? And here's the descendants right here. Thomas Jefferson Adams is the father of one child and the grandfather of 11 grandchildren. And The one child, Martha Adams Powell. This is the one child, Martha Adams Powell. All the rest of them were Mahalia's children. Mahalia's children, right? Mahalia's children. But the biological child was Martha Adams Powell. Now we're going to go back, right? We're going to go back to and check the census records again. Now here is Mahalia Adams again. Now, of course, she's 58 years old. And there's the daughter, Martha, right there. There's Martha, who married a Powell. Martha, right there, daughter. And she's 16 years old, right? Daughter Mary. And there's everybody else. Now, he also had a son, right? Named William Thomas Adams, Thomas J. Adams Jr., right? We're going to look at him, but first we're going to find and see what the race is of Thomas Jefferson Adams, because we know his wife was black. His wife was a freedman and black. So we're going to see what Thomas Jefferson Adams' race was. Let's go back. He's right here in the census. We're going to go back. And this is his census record right here. Thomas Adams, 1840, Indian Territory, Oklahoma, Indian. That's his race, Indian, right? Thomas Adams, right there, 60 years old at the time. Indian, that's his race, not black. He was Indian. Now, I'm going to also show you, right, his son, Thomas J. Adams, right? Or I don't know if it's biological or maybe adopted son or whatever, but a son. Now, this is his ancestor, Thomas J. Adams. This, I don't even believe, it may not even be his ancestor. It may just using this as a ploy for pretendianism. But the Thomas J. Anderson, right? Thomas J. Adams is the son of Thomas J. Adams. Now I'm going to show you that right here when you look at this line of descendants.
A few moments later.
Now, as you can see right here, as we go to family, right? Select family. Thomas Jefferson Adams, son of unknown father and mother unknown. Father of Martha Adams Powell. Do you see what I'm saying? Thomas Jefferson Adams, son of father unknown, mother unknown, father of Martha Adams Powell. So Martha Adams Powell is the only biological child, but we're going to keep going. Now, Thomas married Mahalia Grayson in Cherokee Nation. They're known children. Now, this is Mahalia's children. Mahalia's children. George W. Adams, Betsy Adams, Hepsy Adams, Thomas Adams Jr., right? Lee Adams, Lewis Adams, Richard Adams, Martha Adams, Mary Adams, right? Children. Now, Martha Adams, 1884, right? 1884. That's when she was born. What it says right here, father of Martha Adams Powell, descendants, is the father of one child and the grandfather of 11 grandchildren. Do you see what I'm saying? One child. So we know that Thomas Adams Jr. was a child, right? Thomas Adams Jr. Now, and we also know that Thomas Jefferson Adams was a full-blooded Creek. You know, we can look at his hair, this straight hair. This not black people don't have hair like that. That's straight. Or maybe he was mixed with black too. But he has straight hair. You see, this hair is straight. He doesn't have nappy, kinky hair. Black people have nappy, kinky hair. His hair is obviously straight, like a white tea person. Do you understand? So we know that he most likely wasn't black to a certain extent. He may have a little black in him, but he wasn't black, full black, because his hair is just way too straight. Do you understand? Now, back to the Indian roll, right, or the census of Thomas Adams. No, we back. No, we know he's an Indian, right? We know he is an Indian. And we're going to go back, right, to his wife, Mahalia, and there's Martha right there, the daughter. This is not Thomas. This is Mahalia, the wife. And she is black. She is not Native American. She is listed as black, but he is listed as an Indian. Now, I'm going to show you why that is the case. Hold on for a second.
A few moments later.
Now, here is the son, Thomas Adams Jr. As you saw, he was born in 1870, Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Now, his race listed here as Indian. Father's birthplace, Oklahoma, mother, Oklahoma. Now, look at his blood quantum. Negro, 1/2 Negro African, 1/2 Indian. Therefore, he was of a mixed race. Mixed race. He was not full-blooded. Not full-blooded at all. Says it right here in his blood quantum. He was 1/2 Negro, 1/2 Indian. And we have others, right? This is his wife, Lydia Adams, Lewis Adams, Edward Adams, all his children right there, right? Now, we're going to go to other records, right, to prove that's who he is. Thomas Adams Jr., there it is. Father, Thomas Adams, mother, Mahalia Adams. So we know this is the Thomas Adams Jr., right? The son of Mahalia Adams. Okay, let's look at the Creek Road. Even on the Creek Road, he is listed as 1/2 blood, 1/2 Negro, African, and 1/2 Indian, Creek. Right there. Father, Thomas. Mother, Mahalia. So we now know that he is 1/2. So that we know that Thomas Adams is full-blooded. Now we know Mahalia Adams is not. She is black. And most likely a freedman, right? So we're going to do some further research and to see if she was a freedman.
A few moments later.
Okay, we're going to go back. Okay. We want to go back to the Doss Rolls. Right here, Indian Rolls, Thomas Adams. This is the Freedman Roll. As you see here, Thomas Adams, same person, male, spouse, Martha Adams, right? That's his wife. Children, Lewis and Edward, right? Let's look at the Creek Nation, and he is listed as a freedman. Freedman Roll. He is not a full-fledged member of the Creek Nation. He is a freedman. A freedman, an individual who was enslaved or brought to the Indian territory as a slave and later freed. But he just happened to have half Creek ancestry, possibly the love child of a Creek Indian, possibly, or a full-blooded Creek married a freedman. And this is what it says right here, that he was a freedman. Martha Adams, right? Martha Adams. That's his wife. You have the son, Lewis, right? Thomas Adams, Creek, right there. Freedman Road. So we know even his wife right here was also a freedman. On the Freedman Rolls, she was black, right? She was black. Well, because we see it because she's on the Freedman Roll. So let's go back, right? Let's go back. We're going to look at all the records, all the documentation to prove this man is mixing two different people into one category, right? Okay, what else do we have here? We have marriage certificate right there. That's their marriage certificate. We're going to go back. Right? And we have the Freedman roll right here. And let's look at the 1900 census record for Mr. Thomas. Here's Thomas Adams, same guy, Indian, right? Listed as Indian. Same guy, Thomas Adams, wife Martha, listed as Indian in the census record, 1900. Even though he was half, he was still listed as an Indian, right? So we're going to go back. 1910 census. We saw that he was one half Negro and one half Indian. Therefore, he is of mixed Afro-Indigenous ancestry, right? Therefore, he's black. He's black. That's what that means. Half Negro, even though you got half Indian, you're considered Afro-Indigenous and black. When it comes to the Jim Crow laws, you are black, sir. You're not full-blooded. He's not full-blooded. Says it right here. So let's go back again. Let's see if we can get a later census, 1930 census record. The 1930 census record, Thomas Adams still listed as an Indian. So where's the reclassification? Same guy, right? But he has a different wife now because his other wife has passed away. Martha has passed away, right? His new wife's name is Lydia Adams, right? But he's still listed as an Indian, despite being Afro-Indigenous. He is still listed as an Indian in the census. So where's the reclassification? There is no reclassification. This man clearly is an Afro-Indigenous, half Indian. He's a black man. But according to the census record, he was not reclassified. He was still listed as Indian. 1920, Walter Plecker and all that garbage. He is still listed as an Indian. And we have more. Just stay tuned.
A few moments later.
Now here are the real Harjos. Thomas Harjo, not the Thomas Jefferson Adams. These are two different people. Now this Thomas Harjo, right, Creek by blood, let me show you. And there are lots of Harjos. Harjo was a prominent name, many Harjos, right? And as you can see here, you got full-blooded Harjos. None of them named Thomas. We're going to go again. Find some more. Where are the other Harjos? I'm going to show you there's no such person as Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo. No such person. And as you can see here, right? And right here, Harjo, no Thomas Jefferson. But we have a Thomas, and he's a 1/4. He's 1/4, and guess what? He's also 3/4 YT. 3/4 YT. And I'm going to show you why that is the case. And we have other Harjos right here who are full-blooded. And you see full-blooded, right? And I'm going to show you the full-blooded Harjos as well. They're descendants, because you pretenders fail to realize these Native Americans had descendants. So just hold on for 1 minute.
A few moments later.
And that's her, Mahala Perriman. That's her name, right? That's her people, the Perrimans, right? The Perrimans. Household members, Laura Perriman and all that, right? So we're going to keep going back. Now, we know she was a Perriman. Mahala was a Perriman, right? And there's Thomas Adams right there, right? Thomas Adams, full-blooded Creek. But Thomas J. Adams Jr. was not. But like I told you before, right? Thomas J. Adams is not his biological child. Thomas J. Adams Jr. adopted him. It's not his biological child. He is full-blooded. Mahala is full-blooded, right? And they had only one child together, and that was Martha. Martha was the only child. Thomas is not could be his child from another woman, but they are not full-blooded. He is not full-blooded. Says it right there in the rolls, in the census. He is full-blooded. Mahala is said to be full-blooded. Do you see what I'm saying? But the family record shows Thomas had only one child, and that was Martha. Martha was the only child. Do you understand? So something is kind of off here. Maybe it's because he adopted children, and that's quite common back in those days. You had families adopted children, or they had outside children and they adopted them. Maybe a parent died. And of course you had freedmen right there, freedmen women, right? And as you can see there, you have unknown mother and fathers, right? But we know for a fact, according to all the rolls, that Thomas J. Adams Jr. was half. He was half Negro and half Indian Creek. On the same record where you find these two who are listed as full. Do you understand? Now, again, we're going back to Thomas Jefferson Adams, right? We have clearly shown that no one was reclassified, despite some of his children who were possibly not his biological children being half African and half Indian, still being shown in the census records past Walter Plecker as still listed as Indian by race. Indian by race. They were never reclassified. And we look at the descendants. Martha, one child, Martha, one child, Martha Adams, one child. Okay. And we look at the family, right? Thomas Adams Jr., their known children, Mahalia Grayson. But I tend to think that Mahalia Grayson, right, had only Martha. Only Martha was Thomas Jefferson Adams' biological child. The rest of the children, right, were not hers. Were not his. I'm sorry. Or it could be outside of Mahalia, because we clearly have established that Thomas Adams Jr. was Afro-Indigenous. He was half black, half Creek. And even in 1930, he was still listed as Indian by race in the census, not reclassified.
A few moments later.
This is the 1930 census again. Now, we know Thomas Adams is Afro-Indigenous, but he was not reclassified race Indian. So look at his wife. Was his wife an Indian too? Lydia Adams, race black. So we had an Afro-Indigenous man marry a black woman who was African. Right here. She was born in Texas. Born in Texas. Okay, let's look at the record right here. Look at the record. As you can see here, Thomas Adams, Indian, because that's what he is, because he's half Afro-Indigenous. As you can see here, they marked out the Negro because they made a mistake. Oh, we made a mistake. You're right. You're Indian. And he proved that he was Indian. So you can see here why there's no conspiracy of a reclassification, because you can see where they marked that error and put his racial category because he had the tribal card. He was a tribal card holding member of the Creek, and he was half Creek, and his race has been Indian all the time. So why would he be black? Even though he's Afro-Indigenous, he is still Indian. But his wife isn't. His wife is black. His wife has no Native American ancestry. That's why this was corrected, and he was listed as an Indian, and his wife was not, because his wife was not Indian, she was black. And that's why the children down the line were black. We're black. If they take a DNA test now, they would have around 3% Native American ancestry based upon his ancestry. Do you understand? So that's why it's important to take a DNA test, right? Because you take a DNA test, it will clearly show any descendant of these people will most likely in 2026 would most likely have around 4% Native American ancestry or less, given that Thomas J. Adams, not Harjo, his last name was not Harjo, was full-blooded. Do you understand? That's how it works, people. So this guy, Mr. Lane, is a pretendian. He is a con artist and a crook, because he didn't show you all the pertinent information that you need to know. That Thomas J. Adams had Afro-Indigenous lineage. Afro-Indigenous. And the Harjos, right? The Harjos are really Creek and European. They're Scottish. Creek and Scottish. I'm going to show you right now.
A few moments later.
These are the descendants of Thomas Harjo, the full-blooded Creek, right? Or the half Creek, the one who was half Creek and half white tea, right? These are his descendants. You got Justice Leah Harjo Ware, right? Right here, Leah Harjo Ware. And she's not the only one. We also have Joy Harjo, right? She's also have that European ancestry despite having Creek ancestry. The ancestor was half Creek or a quarter Creek, right? The mother was half Creek, right? And her father was full-blooded Creek, and those were the Harjos. And you also had Harjos who were full-blooded Creek, right? These are the descendants of those Harjos. I showed you the Harjo family. Thomas Jefferson Adams is not part of that lineage, not part of that family. He is not a Harjo. He is an Adams. So do you understand? Two totally different Creeks.
A few moments later.
And again, for clarification purposes, here is Thomas Adams Jr. again. And you can see he is half Creek, half Negro, right? Father, Thomas Adams. Mother, Mahalie Adams. All the relevant names and relevant people. And as you can see here, Freedman card. Freedman. Martha Adams was a freedman. Husband of Martha Adams, Freedman card. Freedman. Number 1 on 1890 roll as Thomas Adams. Number 1, husband of Martha Adams, Freedman card. Martha was a freedman. Freedman. You see it right there. Creek Road clearly says Martha Adams was a freedman. Freedman card. So you really have to start doing your research and stop listening to these pretendians over the internet. Now, Mr. Lane possibly could be an ancestor of Thomas J. Adams, but he only had one biological child according to the descendants, right? So what we need now is find the other descendants to validate that Mr. Lane is actually a descendant of Thomas J. Adams.